It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
I think this is going up late on a Friday. I don't know if that matters, depending on when you listen to it, but it is probably going to go up late on a Friday. That's when I'll have time to put it up there on the old World Wide Webs. Hi, thanks for tuning into the Sean Widmer Podcast. I appreciate it, and it's nice to have you here today. There's a lot to get to today. I've got an action movie question I've got to throw out there for you movie fans. We've got a quick video game note we've got to get. Lexington, Kentucky, and every city needs something like this. So if you don't have it, somebody's got to step up in your city. And I was humbled a bit. Humbled. We'll see. We'll see if it was humbled. But we'll get to that stuff today on the podcast. Before we get started, though, thanks to the Patreon members over at patreon.com/Sean Widmer Podcast. Because of you, this podcast happens. So thank you so much for your support. Trivia 21 this week. You'll get another one next week. And occasionally a video or two get thrown up there as well. You can go check that out. Okay, we're going to give our shout out to start off the podcast. And there's a couple different ways I could go with this. I think I'm going to have to give my shout out to Curdy and Dalton. Curdy's, just because they're siblings, but Curdy's birthday was a week ago. And because of it, game night got thrown together. And it was a Jackbox Party Pack online game night that was really fun. And a lot of people were on playing Jackbox games. We maxed it out. I think there was 12 or 13 people for a while playing Jackbox games. And it was really fun. I love Jackbox games. We played way too late. Had a great time doing it. And it's just, I just love it. I think everyone needs to get together and play Jackbox games if you never have before. The Party Pack, we've talked about them a lot on the podcast. Here's what happened, though, that I wanted to bring up because it was a realization for me. I said humbling. I don't know if it was humbling as much as it was just where I'm at in life. We played a game. I actually don't know what Party Pack it's on, but the game was called High-Low. And what happens in this game is the Jackbox folks have come up with a laundry list in a specific category, a laundry list of things. So this would not be one of them, but things in a grocery store. And they've organized them from number one, most important or most relevant. I'm sure it's done through surveys or however they've done it, down to, let's say, 500 items. And the way the game goes, everyone takes a turn, and your goal for the first two rounds is to try to name something at the very top of the list. Depending on how high yours is, you get a certain amount of points. And then the last two rounds, you're trying to name something super low on the list. And depending on how low it is, you get a certain amount of points. It's a really clever game, very fun. So we played a couple rounds of this, and one of the rounds was slang words. Now, it's slang words from when this was made, which I'm assuming was last year. And it was an eye-opening moment for a 43-year-old. It was wild. So I come in hot with good old-fashioned dang. And it's there's 498 answers, and that was in the low 100s or maybe mid 100s. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was low. Okay? And then these other people who are in the group, they're much younger. We're talking some kids in their 20s and 30s, and someone hits Riz. R-I-Z, and it's number one. And I'm thinking, that's where we are right now. I knew the first two rounds I was going to struggle because I don't know the slang words that are at the top. I knew the last two rounds when I was trying to get the low ones, I was locked in. I hit him with a golly, and that was way down there. And I hit him with either it was shoot or shucks, and it was almost at the bottom. Massive points for me on the low end slang words. But they are typing words in this game, and entering words that I'm like blown away even exist. I think skibbity was one that was way up near the top. Just the state Ohio was way up. One of them that was way, way up and got a lot of points. I think it's talking about someone's rear end. G-Y-A-T-T. I don't even know how you say gyat. I have any clue. And these are all words that as they're being typed, everyone in the group, when someone would submit one, they're like, of course. And I'm thinking, this is the very first time I've seen that word ever in my life for a handful of the answers that were in the top 20. I would say of the top 20 popular slang words, I was familiar with maybe 5, and I'd seen 7 other ones. Otherwise, they were like completely foreign. And the 7 that I had seen, I couldn't use in a sentence. So I've hit this wild point where I'm so out of touch with that world. And I think a reaction that people can have is, these are so stupid. Skibbity? What? That's a Riz? It's so stupid. The kids are so stupid. That's a bad opinion. Just for the record, for people who are like that, that's a really bad opinion. Slang words are great to grow up around. We had dang, we had shoot. People would say frick, frickin', freakin'. You know, we had all that stuff when I was a kid, and it was awesome. And you had your own lingo. I'm sure that parents back then were like, what are you guys saying? What weird words are you saying? But I think it's great. And I think like knowing every generation has their weird words that don't really make sense at the time, but all the youth are using. I love that part of the human cycle and the human experience is your section of time with your slang words that exist in yours. And then, you know, a group gets those words start to get used too much, and a certain group of people are like, we can't use that slang word. We can't say skibbity anymore. That's what the old people used to say. The old people say that word. We got to come up with new stuff. And so new words, weird word combinations are formed. And as we use more words, like the words are going to get weirder. I love it. So it was extremely eye-opening. I was so bummed because I couldn't find the list. I was hoping that Jackbox would have like these lists available somewhere. Obviously, that's dumb for them. It kind of ruins the game. But I would have loved to have had access to all 498 words so I could just read through a bunch of them and see how many of them that I knew. But shout out to Jackbox Party Pack. You just continue to come out with great game after great game. I do not know. Let me see if I can figure out what pack that is. Jackbox High-Low. That is in Jackbox Survey Scramble. $7.99 on Steam. I think it is. I think you can get it on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Apple. Jackbox Survey Scramble. $7.99. Might be worth it. I thought it was very fun. Very, very fun. Speaking of the Nintendo Switch, holy cow, speaking of Nintendo and Nintendo Switch, that was big news this week. Nintendo Switch 2 gets announced earlier in the week. A lot of stuff last week about how it was going to come out, and people were saying at CES, Computer Electronics Show, I think that's what that stands for, that it was leaked, the model was leaked, and then Nintendo's like, no, and then it turns out that pretty much was the exact model, so now there's worries. Now there's stories coming out that someone leaked it, so it's a powder keg, people are tense there. And anyways, that doesn't matter to the story. They announced the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm very excited about it. I thought Nintendo Switch was an awesome console. Really like mine. It's been very fun because that console is one my daughter always wants to do Mario Kart. And I love that. That's a very fun dad-daughter event is racing Mario Kart. And she's pretty good at it. And so she saw something where I was watching something and the Switch 2 video was on my phone. And Olivia was like, what is that? I'm like, girl, that's the new Nintendo Switch that's coming out. And it looks like, judging by some of the trailers, the next Mario Kart, it looks like it might be a launch. I mean, this is speculation, but it seems like it might be a launch day game, which is crazy, right? Nintendo Switch 2, if you want to come out and really win the world over, you make sure you have a Mario game, not a Mario All-Stars, not a Luigi's Mansion, or like the Princess Peach game that came out, or Paper Mario, a Mario game from the series, Mario Odyssey 2. That needs to happen. And a Mario Kart. You have those two things on release day, and you have got immediate system sellers outside of the Switch 2 just being the next Nintendo system that parents and gamers are going to want to buy. But the thing I want to talk about the Switch 2, outside of that, I think it looks cool. I'm excited about it. I love that Nintendo's making more systems. That makes me excited for my kids. Outside of that, Nintendo has done something since the Nintendo Switch that I appreciate so much, and it's continuing on with the Switch 2, and that is something very simple. That dang click that they have made, not like a group of people who are a click with a Q, click as in C-L-I-C-K. The clicking sound that the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Switch makes, where you snap the Joy-Cons onto the screen. They used it like crazy in their marketing for the Switch. That sound is so soothing. ASMR like out the ears with that sound, and they've doubled down with that, with the magnets they now have. The Joy-Cons for the Switch 2 are magnetic as opposed to slide, so they click in even louder. And Nintendo going all in on a sound effect to sell their system in terms of their marketing is brilliant. It's brilliant because the Mario stuff's going to sell itself. The portability is going to sell itself. But you just throw in that click, and whether you've realized it or not, it is an iconic video game sound all time. The click of the Joy-Cons, and now they've got the click of the Joy-Cons magnetically. Well, Nintendo, I got to give you a shout out. An unbelievable marketing move by them that I didn't even realize I loved until I saw Switch 2 stuff, and I'm like, they still have a click. The click's still happening. God bless. Okay, every city needs this, and I don't know what city you're listening in right now. I know there's a lot of people in Spokane that listen, and Lexington that listen. Spokane has it, Lexington does not. It drives me crazy here. And if your city doesn't have this, and you never lived in Spokane, you might not even know about it. Now, your city might have it. I don't know what your city's is called. But in Spokane, they had it started on Twitter, and I think now it's on Facebook only. They had Spokane News, at Spokane_news. I know on Facebook, if you search Spokane News, you can see what I'm talking about. Anytime anything happens, traffic-wise, crime-wise, anything kind of that comes across the police scanner, Spokane News is on it. And they're posting about it, and then they're commenting underneath it when more details come out, and other people who are around it are commenting on it. So whenever you're in an area of Spokane and something happens, and you're like, what was that? You can go to Spokane News, and for the most part, you're going to see reports on what that is. Okay, and it's awesome. And in Lexington, they don't have it, and it drives me crazy because we've had a lot of situations. I personally have passed by one awful wreck that happened in front of me where it was a head-on a busy street here in Lexington, and they were going fast, and it shut the street down. Everyone turned around like it was a mess. And so I went home. I'm like, what was the result of this? Not a word. Couldn't find a word about it anywhere. I'm like, how do you not have the coverage on a crazy accident? And I passed by two other accidents where I'm like, well, what happened there? Is everyone okay? And there's just no one reports on it. It just disappears. So you just know there's an accident and nothing happens. In Spokane, if there's an accident, you get what happened, like what's going on. Was the driver, are we talking drunk drivers and stuff? And it's just like you get the details. And I'm looking for the details on my stories. Anna, the other day, passed by a situation where there were police officers, guns pulled, and someone coming out of a car with their hands on the back of their head, backing up towards police officers with guns drawn. Seems like something that might be worth throwing out there so people know to avoid an area. Nothing. Can't find anything about it. There's not avoid, Tate's Creek and I don't know enough roads in Lexington. Tate's Creek and Man of War. Avoid that area. And I don't know where this was, but this is bad. I've lived in Lexington for over a year, and that's the two streets that came up first, Judge away. But there's no report of something, guns drawn in that area, stay away. You just drive right into it. No, they don't even care. So every city needs one of these. And I don't know who runs Spokane News and how that's populated, but it is so nice to have, and I miss it dearly out here, not being able to keep up with what's going on, areas to avoid, even just traffic areas where it's like there's an accident on the freeway on I-90. Take other routes. That was so valuable driving around Spokane. So valuable. Okay, we're going to get into Kelly's What Are You Into for a second. I did want to say, I think I'm wearing, if you're watching on YouTube, getting ready to head to work. I'm wearing the flannel to work today. It's feeling very, very Pacific Northwesty, but it makes me think of my beard. I think 2025 I'm going beard. Last run. One of the last runs. It was probably 2018 when I really grew my beard out. It was maybe 5 inches off my face. It was huge beard. Huge. And it's really annoying, and it's not the best look in the world, but I really like it. I just have this weird feeling, just one last time, make one last run with the beard and see what I think about it. And I think this is going to be the year for it. So we'll see. I haven't shaved since right before Christmas, and all I'm doing now is I'm shaving the mustache down. I didn't do that last time, But the mustache is what bothers me when the beard is growing out long. The mustache grows below your lip, and it really gets bothersome. So I'm thinking if I can keep the mustache trimmed down, the rest of the beard won't bother me as much. So I think we're gonna give it one last whirl. I can't click buttons today.
Kelly's, what are you into?
It was gonna be so smooth, and then it's not. Last night, I watched the movie The Accountant with Ben Affleck, and I've got a lot of thoughts around this. Great movie. I'd say a B, maybe sneaks up to B+ movie. I thought it was a really good movie, action movie. Ben Affleck is, I thought, pretty good in it. There's a lot of fighting in it. There's a lot of shooting in it. There's a lot of killing in it. I thought it was a good movie. The plot seemed to be pretty good. A lot of big names in it. Let me bring up the list here. John Lithgow in it. I never remember the dad's name from Arrested Development, which is the guy I'm trying to look up here. Jeffrey Tambor, he's in it. J.K. Simmons is in it. John Bernthal, who is the brother in The Bear. Anna Kendrick, Cup's girl, and Ben Affleck. So, like, big names in this movie. Really good movie. And I left the movie thinking, do I like Ben Affleck? Do I like Ben Affleck? I don't know if I don't know. Anytime he's in a movie, I feel like I enjoy the movie that I've watched. But I looked through his IMDb and I was like, well, I haven't seen a lot of Ben Affleck movies. There's a lot of them I haven't seen, but the ones I have seen, I really like. Like, I liked The Accountant. I remember enjoying Argo. I don't remember if I loved it or not, but I enjoyed Argo. I liked Good Will Hunting. I was young when it came out. I thought it was super cool. There's a lot of bad language in it, so I thought that was a little wild. Gone Girl, I thought was fantastic. And I loved The Town. So these are like some of the movies I love from Ben Affleck. But when I looked at his actual IMDb, because I thought, is he an actor I love? I was looking through and I'm thinking, I haven't seen tons of these movies. He's been in a ton of movies, and I haven't seen a lot of them. So I want to say I've liked Ben Affleck. I like Ben Affleck, but again, I have no clue. Let me look at some of these right here. Extract, don't know it. State of Play, don't know it. Smoking Aces, remember it, don't remember him in it. Clerks 2, didn't see Clerks 2. I enjoyed Clerks. Man About Town, don't know it. Jersey Girl, don't know it. Paycheck, don't know it. The Third Wheel, don't know it. Sum of All Fears, I liked it. I remember seeing it and liked it. Pearl Harbor, didn't love it. So, you know, I don't know. I think I like him. I loved Armageddon. I loved Mallrats. I don't know. Do I like Ben Affleck? I'm not sure. But he was good in this movie. And there's a lot of gunplay in this movie. And I thought Ben Affleck was really good in the gun scenes. And I love good acting in a gun scene. And so what I'm throwing out there for everyone, help me out here, because I could think of the two best actors in terms of their gunplay, acting with a gun in their hand. I've got two of them for you. And these are the best two. But I need to know who belongs in that third spot, bronze medalist behind these two. The silver medalist in this category for me is Keanu Reeves. And this is hard putting him in silver and not gold, but I think gold, I've watched a lot of clips and gold is just really good. Keanu Reeves, John Wick is insane. Keanu Reeves in The Matrix, he's also really good. He is amazing with the gun. He really sells it and he makes it look awesome. And he's in kind of movies that I love where the clip falls out and he replaces it with another clip that's magically on his belt or something like that. And he just screw the last clip. Keanu Reeves is awesome in gunfighting scenes, but Denzel Washington is phenomenal when it comes to gunplay in a movie. Phenomenal. You watch Training Day, you watch Man on Fire, you watch the Equalizer movies, and when he has the gun, it's all in his face. The expressions he makes really sell it. They make it so much cooler that he has a gun. So I've got Keanu Reeves, I've got Denzel Washington. I talked to some people. There's some outliers here. Jason Statham. I wanted to take away fighting, and this is just based on with the gun. So you don't get to count in a gun scene, but like the coolest parts, Bourne Identity, are the fist fights. I'm talking about who does best with the gun. And it's Keanu Reeves and it's Denzel Washington. Mark Wahlberg, got a lot of people text me Mark Wahlberg. I couldn't think of a good Mark Wahlberg movie to remember. So maybe he's good. Let me know. But who am I missing as the third in this trifecta? Denzel Washington, Keanu Reeves, and who's the third in terms of acting with the gunplay? Let me know. Love an action movie. Love it. Okay, thanks for tuning in today. Very much appreciated. I was going to go and look at the comments real quick and see what we've got here. You can comment over at Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, you can comment on the episode. We get to those. I didn't remember seeing anything on YouTube, so we'll go to Spotify. Let's see what we got here. These are the comments, I think, from the week. This one is from Sharon. Sharon said, did you watch the finale of Survivor? Absolutely. I think I talked about it on one of the podcasts. I don't remember which one. Sharon's so happy Rachel won. So happy. She deserved to win. Loved it. Great season of Survivor. Yeah, loved it. Yvonne says, I watched the podcast on YouTube. It's good to hear from Brandon. This is about the Brandon one. Her son, Andrew, turned 29. She said, I liked the breakdowns of How Are You in 2025. Some good stuff. Didn't know about the mirror thing on Marketplace. Afraid to go there now. Yeah, stay away. Stay away. Kelly, Mr. McGillis says, Ola Slim, Mike Boyle loves candy. What is that, Kelly? Yeah, he loves candy. And then he sent me his email. All right, got you on that one, Kelly. That's a wild range of commentary there from old Kelly. Okay, let's see. Was there anything else I needed to get to here? I think that's it. I think we got all of them there. And then let's check here. One last site. If you went to Sean'sLife.com, we'll see if there's any comments there, because I do want to get to them. I do enjoy the comments. Miguel says, excuse me. Miguel says, I love Miguel. I've not heard from Miguel in a minute. Love him. Go Eags. Miguel says, wait, Zach Top is Alan Jackson's kid? How do we know that? The Zach Top thing is wild. I don't know anything about Zach Top, country music guy. Don't know anything about him. The rumor is that he's Alan Jackson's kid. They, first of all, look alike. And 9 months before Zach Top's birthday, Alan Jackson was performing in the Tacoma area. And Zach Top, I think, is a Washington kid, Western Washington kid. So, the maths. Is it true? Who knows? I love a good conspiracy theory like that. So let's just say it's real. I think that's the way to go. All right, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. And we'll talk again next week.